Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Quintel Kickoff Show in our Centier Bank Studios. Getting you ready for some more Friday night light sectional semifinals are going on. We have two game nights built by Von Tobel for you viewers, which you'll be able to view on the ihsaatv.org website. We've been posting the link periodically throughout the day, so make sure you go to one of our previous posts today. It's going to have the Von Tobel logo, and those we're going to find both of those links. Now, just a reminder, Lafayette Jefferson at Crown Point, special start time at 6:30 p.m. We'll be going live at about 6:10, and then Valpo Chesterton will be a regular 7 p.m. start time. We'll be going live at about 6:30 p.m. But I got Mike Dewan besides me. We got Zach Snelly producing today's Quintel Kickoff Show. And here's the games that we'll be covering on our hometown scoreboard, courtesy of our friends from Strack and Van Til. You can view that on our Facebook and YouTube page. Now, we talked about a lot of these games on Region Football Weekly last week. Boone Grove goes to Hanover Central, tries to end their undefeated season. The Highland Trojans face off against the Culver Academy Eagles. Our game night built by Von Tobel, 6:30 kickoff. Lafayette Jefferson at Crown Point. You have LaVille at Whiting. Michigan City at LaPorte. Morton, it will be at Hammond Central for the Battle of Hammond. Munster will go to Maryville. New Prairie at KV. Portage against Lake Central in the Battle of Indians at the Burial Grounds. Our second game night built by Von Tobel, kickoff at 7 o'clock. Valpo at Chesterton. And then Wheeler at Bremen. Mike, a lot of great games on hand for us tonight, especially our two game nights built by Von Tobel. We'll talk about those in a little bit, but let's go to the games that aren't our game nights built by Von Tobel. I think especially you got the Boone Grove Wolves, Hanover Central Wildcats. That should be a really good one. Morton and Hammond Central, that rivalry. You got Lake Central and Portage, the Indian battle. And, hey, look at the Highland Trojans, a chance to host the sectional championship with a win tonight.
It doesn't get much better than that. It's going to be a tough matchup with who they're playing. We saw what that team was able to do last week, and it's not going to be an easy drive for Highland, to say the least. It's going to be an interesting one, but again, it was kind of a rocky season for Highland, and they had a lot of promise going into the year, and things maybe didn't go their way throughout the course of the season. But we mentioned this is postseason, something completely different. It could rewrite all your wrongs you had in the regular season. Highland has a chance, again, to really kind of make a name for themselves if they get a win here tonight.
What are you looking forward to most tonight? Now, there is some rain forecasted tonight. Slight rain, nothing major, but around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, there's about 30-40% chance of rain in most of the areas these games take place. But what are you looking for? Because next week, sectional championships, it seems like this train is moving very fast on the playoffs. It seems like yesterday we're talking about week 3 regular season.
Right.
Last week we're talking about the quarterfinals and some of the teams had to bye, but everybody who's alive is now playing sectional semifinals, sectional championships next week. A lot to play for. What are you looking forward to?
I think two things. I think one is, again, we talk about the rain possibly coming in pretty shortly here. If it hasn't started already, we've been locked up in here, but nonetheless, it's how teams respond to that. We kind of talked about that in week 9, I believe it was, and that Friday was a complete rainstorm all night. And then for the teams that are playing their first sectional game, how do they respond to the bye week? Do they come out flat? Do they come out more healthy? Or are they maybe well rested, juiced up, playing better with the bye week? That's all kind of two big factors, I think, that control how the games go tonight. Of course, again, the rain, it kind of shuts down any teams maybe looking to throw the ball. I wouldn't say it shuts it down, but it definitely contains it a little bit more. And then, again, the bye week, there's a lot of factors. Teams could really show me how battle-tested they are, again, having a week off, see if teams can get back to full strength, and, again, how do they respond kind of being thrown off their rhythm in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, we have about 6 5A and 6A games combined. All those teams got that bye going into tonight's action. We talked about on Region Football League last night about how do you respond after a bye. Have the week off. We found out a lot of these kids had fall break. Some schools even have fall break this week. I believe Portage might have theirs this week. But nevertheless, you have that bye week. It's fall break. Halloween's coming up and all the festivities. How do you stay focused on that matchup? Because when we talked to Jason Grunwald, he even admitted it to where they're not doing what they usually would do on a football week. They're not doing the practices, the workouts, the film they would do. They're kind of taking it easy, having some fun out there. How do you make that tough transition of having fun, because it is important to have fun, but also getting back in that mindset to get ready for Friday night.
Yeah, there's a lot of distractions, to say the least, again, depending on when schools have their fall break. And, of course, we have the festivities coming up of Halloween next Tuesday. But, I kind of harped on this yesterday. It just depends on the program and the coaches. I mean, again, Munster, my experience there, we would have a week off before we'd play our first sectional game, and again, usually that first week we take it a little bit easy, get the guys healthy, kind of get the morale up a little bit for a big contest, and then the next week we hit it hard. And it all trickles down to the coaches. They have to get you ready. As long as you're alongside the senior leaders, I think, of the team, those guys are the ones. Again, this is their last hurrah. This game could be their last, and you have to have, alongside those solid coaches, you have to have leaders in the player group to kind of bring those guys up and get them ready for a big game that's going to happen tonight. So it's all credit to the teams. I mean, from top to bottom, the teams that are going to thrive are the teams that have the leaders both inside and outside of the program.
Well, our 2 game nights built by Von Tobel, all those 4 teams got that bye because they are in the 5A, 6A sectional. So they got the bye. We'll see how they respond. We're going to take a break here on the Quintel Kickoff Show in our Suntier Bank Studios. But when we come back, we're going to talk about our first game night built by Von Tobel. But you're watching us on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Update your kitchen or bathroom with Von Tobel. Get 20% off select cabinets now through October 28th. Von Tobel has cabinets and vanities in a range of styles and colors. Plus, built-in storage, countertops, and flooring. Our designers will help you find the perfect selections for your style and budget. Scan to visit VonTobels.com today to book your free consultation at one of our 4 Indiana showrooms. Von Tobel. Building better together.
Quintel Incorporated is a family-owned and operated company located in Northwest Indiana that specializes in the reconditioning, repair, and remanufacturing of heat exchangers. Since 1994, Quintel has been handling jobs of all sizes throughout the country. Equipped with the most modern technology and advanced tools, Quintel provides top-notch service. When you trust Quintel for all your needs, you'll get peace of mind and a finished job that exceeds your expectations. For more info about Quintel and the services they provide, visit quintel-inc.com.
When life takes you places and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack and Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use, and it can save you time and money. Once your order is in, our own Strack and Van Til team preps your order with care. For delivery or pickup, enjoy the convenience of letting our to-go team shop for you. Enjoy your special moments. Sign up online today at shop.strackandvantil.com.
Hi, I'm Crowell Company's Lantern Man. I'll cover your motorcycle. I'll be with you on the water. I'll be with you on the snow. I'll cover your insurance needs wherever you go. I'll be at Crowell Agency from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Companies, the insurance professionals in Highland, Maryville, and Michigan City.
From schools to stadiums, hospitals, and bridges, everywhere you look, union carpenters are building Indiana. With jobs and skilled trades in high demand, there's never been a better time to start building your future. As an apprentice, you'll earn a debt-free college degree, earn while you learn, and receive great benefits like healthcare and retirement. So what are you waiting for? Visit carpenters.com to learn more. Visit carpenters.com and start building your future today.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Back here on the Quintel Kickoff Show in our Santier Bank Studios, getting you set for Friday Night Lights. Almost set for our first game night built by Von Tobel, but a big thank you to Mike Dewan, of course, accidentally producing today's show. Dewan is always my co-host, sitting next to me. people might think we live together as many shows as we've done together.
It's been a lot, man.
It's been a lot.
We can only take so much of each other, I think, but
It's been a lot of fun, and this game should be a lot of fun. Our first game night built by Von Tobel. We'll be going live at about 6:10 from Crown Point, but kickoff is slated for 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Lafayette Jefferson, Crown Point, rematch of the sectional championship last year where the Bronchos got the best of the Bulldogs and ended their undefeated season. So Bulldogs, they get their rematch. They've only met once in the history of these two schools, and it was that matchup last year. And we talked about, although they've only played once, and obviously the second matchup takes place tonight, this is a rivalry that is building to be something special, especially if Crown Point gets to win tonight. Then you have that Game 3 next year if they play each other. And then it keeps going back and forth, but this is going to be a fun one. Lafayette Jefferson, freshman quarterback under center. He's only started 4 games, but in those 4 games, over 600 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, and no interceptions for Crown Point. Well, we've been talking about it all year long. It's a 3-headed monster at offense, and Ehrlich, Delich, and Ellison. Those 3 have just been spectacular this year. And then on defense, you got the Clarks, you got Falk, you've got Verschure, you've got a lot of guys on this Bulldogs team who can play great football, but you're also facing a Lafayette Jefferson team that you might not know much about because they're kind of, in that southern part. You don't really know much about them. They've been playing their football. Crown Point's been playing their football. Obviously they wanted to play each other, but they didn't know they would until about 3 weeks ago. Now, Lafayette Jefferson, they have played a region team. They did play Michigan City. They did lose to Michigan City. I believe the score was 36-31.
Yep, sounds about right.
But let's go for Lafayette Jefferson first. You have a freshman quarterback going into a sold-out environment. If there's any place that you don't want to play, maybe your first playoff game, it's probably Crown Point just because that place is packed. They have the fireworks in the pregame. They've got the music, the hype videos. It's almost like you're at a college football game. As you're a coach, what would you be telling your freshman quarterback right now?
Yeah, I think you got to kind of settle him down. Again, that Crown Point defense is stifling, as you mentioned. The players on that team, they have some next level commits on all sides of the ball, and that defense, again, 6.6 points per game. Mm-hmm. It's you have to kind of ease them into a game like that. The environment's not going to be ideal, especially your first playoff game on the road. Stakes are high. 6A, again, it's a rematch. So Crown Point, we know they're going to be hungry, ready, trying to get a win, and you have to kind of ease them into it. It looks like, again, Jefferson has a very balanced offense, again, with Lance Crowder, the running back, and they also have DJ Young, who's kind of their leading receiver, who also, both are pretty similar stats in terms of yards and touchdowns. So it's, again, kind of, if you want to try and let them loose in this rain a little bit, again, short dink and dunk passes, chunk plays, extension of the run game, and maybe open something up down deep. But I mean, you can't throw them into the fire right away. And again, for both teams, I think you have to. Again, I mentioned this yesterday. You're playing 2 opponents. You're playing yourself, and you're playing the team against you. And again, for a freshman quarterback, you really have to let him ease him into it. I think, again, let him get in his groove, because you need all you can get in this crazy environment against a talented team as Crown Point is.
It will be interesting to see what Bronchos team we see tonight, just because when they win games, they average 40 points a game. When they lose games, their defense is giving up 39 points per game. Yeah. So it's really which Bronchos are you going to get tonight. Now they have been on the winning side more when freshman quarterback Tristan Barrett has been under center. They're currently in a 2-game win streak. That includes their win 2 weeks ago and 2 shutout wins as well. So it's what team are you going to get? Because it has been a tale of 2 teams. You have the team that's been able to win 2 shutout games and average 40 points a game. But then you've had the team that maybe they score a lot of points, but they give up a lot of points.
Yeah, I think for Jefferson, if they want to walk away again with their second straight win and to disappoint a undefeated Crown Point team, I think it's going to have to be won by their defense. They're going to have to show us. Because we know Crown Point, I bet they're always hungry on the defensive side.
Bulletin material, like
it's that they're not going to try and let up any sort of points for Lafayette Jefferson, and especially having a freshman under center. No matter how skilled he is, you kind of have growing pains. Again, you're a 14, 15-year-old, and it's not an easy environment at our age, I'd say, right now to be in, let alone somebody as young as Tristan Barrett. So again, your defense has to come to play against a very solid Crown Point offense. Again, that three-headed monster that you mentioned. If Jefferson wants to walk away and go to the sectional finals, I think it's going to be on the hands of their defense.
For Crown Point, they've played as good as you could in a football season. You said 6.6 points per game. Their defense gives up school record. For the second time in their school history, I believe it was 122 years, they finished 2 back-to-back seasons undefeated in the regular season. So this has been one historic run for the Bulldogs. But where their historic runs have ended have been at sectionals. You know, they haven't had a home sectional win since 2018. And their last sectional games are 2-4. Now, obviously, that's the past. Right. And I don't think the past really hangs over high school teams, just like, like for professional sports. But for Crown Point, it's been that roadblock of sectionals. Because last year going into that game, I bet you they felt really confident playing the Bronchos. Mm-hmm. But they played, not to be harsh, but their worst game. Last year against Lafayette Jefferson, they had those 3 fumbles, which the Bronchos scored on all 3 of those turnovers. We talked about how Crown Point only gave up 10 points off turnovers the whole year. And in that sectional championship, they gave up 17 points off turnovers. And that's kind of been the roadblock for the Bulldogs, is sectional play. Now, if they win, this is probably their hardest game of sectionals, is this Lafayette Jefferson team.
Most likely.
Because it is a well-rounded team with a lot of seniors that have been, with that team last year that won at Crown Point. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there was trash talk between these two teams after the game and social media, how that all gets. But, for Crown Point, this team is different than last year. We've said that. The players are different. They never had a quarterback like Ehrlich. Ellison, 21 total touchdowns. Landon Delich, he was on that team last year. And I believe, he's got to be telling the guys who weren't there last year how that loss felt. For your season to end at your home field against a team maybe you should have beat, he was there for that sting. And, you go back to that reference of Stephon Diggs when he was standing on the field when the Chiefs won in overtime that one year.
Yep.
Kind of get that with Landon Delich. Maybe he was there for that loss. He was a big piece of the offense, and now he's like, oh, we get them again. This is what I want. But like we said, this is a different Crown Point team than last year.
Yeah, Clark brothers, Seamus Mulaski, Nate Kolk, they're all, again, proven leaders that were on the team last year that, again, could kind of trickle down that effect to the younger players or a transfer player like Noah Ehrlich. Again, this is what it means for Crown Point to get this revenge against a very solid Lafayette Jefferson team. And Again, it's tough to say if this team's even better than last. I don't know if I can really call them different. I mean, you just got to show me something tonight. Again, I don't know if this is a Lafayette Jefferson team of last year that had some very solid playoff success in the 6A, but nonetheless, this is still a football game that you have to go out there and prove it in front of your home fans. And again, we kind of mentioned it's who makes more plays on defense. Mm-hmm. I think Crown Point also could win this game with their defense. You mentioned the game last year was decided by 17 points off of turnovers, 3 fumbles. Again,
it was a 10-point win for the Bronchos
on a team that protected a Crown Point team that protected the ball very well all year. I mean, that's the name of the game. Again, crappy conditions. There may be a couple fumbles here and there. You have to, maybe get a few bounces your way, but nonetheless, you can't beat yourself. You have to protect the ball and make sure you don't give maybe struggling offenses either on this side or that side a short field and a chance to put points up on the board. So I think that is the X factor for not only Crown Point but for Lafayette Jefferson. Again, that Crown Point defense is stifling and their offense is pretty solid as well. Again, we talk about the playmakers, so you just can't give your opponent easy opportunities to run up the score.
I think for the defensive side of things, obviously we talk about offense all the time. The defense is where it really gets interesting because both sides have playmakers. For the Bronchos, Riley Perkins, 12.5 tackles for loss and 4 sacks and 15 hurries. Then you go to a guy like Micah Lillard, 6 interceptions, 7 forced fumbles, 3 pass deflections. We talked about the Clark brothers. I mean, Will Clark especially, 10 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. You have Nate Kolk, 13 tackles for loss and a sack, and Seamus Mulaski, the Purdue commit, 10 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. So we can talk about the offensive numbers all you want, but it seems that this game is going to be it's going to be in the trenches because these defenses are not going to give up anything easy. They're going to make it, I believe, tough for Ehrlich because of the way Micah Lillard's been playing all year. And they're going to make it tough for a guy like Tristan Barrett and Lance Crowder, the running back, because you do have guys near the line or at your linebackers at Kalk, Clark, and Mulaski there's really on both sides guys who can change the outcome of the game.
Yeah, they're drive killers, they say. Again, if you either have linemen or linebackers, I mean, these guys can get in the backfield, sack your quarterback, make tackles for loss, and it kills drives. Or if you have a guy like Michael Lillard who forces plenty of turnovers, as we see, 13 turnovers forced, it looks like. It is, again, those are guys to circle in the film room and watch out for opposing offenses. So, again, this is going to be a fun one, although, again, Crown Point's 9-0 and Lafayette Jeff is 5-4. I don't think records matter at all. There are playmakers across the board of all classes, as we see, and it's going to be a fun one at the Dog Pound.
Before that Lafayette Jefferson loss, Crown Point hadn't lost a home game since October 1st, 2021. So since that date, they've only lost one home game. And to those Bronchos. But remember, special kickoff time, 6:30. It's our game night built by Von Tobel. You'll be able to view that on ihsaatv.org. Where do you find that link? We'll look through our Facebook page. We've been posting it periodically throughout the day, I believe every 3 hours, starting at 9 a.m. this morning. 6:30 kickoff is, but about 6:10 is when we'll be going live from the Dog Pound. We'll take a break here on the Quintel Kickoff Show in our Sentier Bank Studios. And we come back, we'll talk about our second game night built by Von Tobel, but you're watching this on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Have you checked out Sentier Bank's student checking account? This no-fee checking account is perfect for students and teens ages 14 to 24 and comes with all the features you need to succeed, such as a debit card, digital banking, and automatic deposit. Sentier Bank can help you start establishing good spending habits today for your better tomorrow. For more information, visit Sentier.com/student-checking or visit your local branch. If you are under the age of 18, your parent or guardian must also sign on the Sentier student checking account. At the age of 25, your account will automatically convert to the Sentier checking account. You must deposit $25 to open this account. This account is not eligible for overdraft advantage. Member FDIC.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
Develop skills that will last for a lifetime with an apprenticeship with the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers Local 4, Indiana, Kentucky. The apprenticeship and training program is committed to developing highly skilled bricklayers, terrazzo workers, and ceramic tile setters to provide the construction industry with the best hands in the business. If you are currently working non-union and want better pay with benefits, or if you think learning a new skill with a paid apprenticeship while you earn your associate's degree is the right path for you, visit baclocal4.org/training to learn more about the apprenticeship program. Are you built to succeed?
For over 100 years, Burns Funeral Home and Crematory has been assisting families in their time of need. Serving Northwest Indiana, the staff at Burns Funeral Home will help guide your family in creating a meaningful ceremony. From a simple to elaborate to traditional or unique, the caring family at Burns Funeral Home will tailor a ceremony to fit your needs. And for your other loved ones, Burns Funeral now has a pet cemetery and crematory. Visit burnsfuneral.com or give them a call at 219-942-1117.
Back here on the Quintel Kickoff Show in our Sentier Bank Studios, thank you for making us a part of your Friday night. Jack Thiel, Mike Dewan besides me. Zach Snelly producing today's show. We're almost set for our first game night built by Von Tobel, which we just talked about before the break. Lafayette Jefferson at Crown Point, 6:30 kickoff. We'll be live at about 6 6:10. But we have 2 game nights built by Von Tobel for you viewers. And the second one is going to be Valpo at Chesterton. Now this one will be a regular 6 o'clock kickoff. We'll be going live at about 6:30 from Chesterton Stadium. But 2 DAC teams going at it. They faced off already this year. Valpo got the win 28-14. Should be a good one. 2 teams very familiar with each other. I mean, they've played 45 times in the last 35 years. Valpo leading that series 30-15. For the Vikings, they've kind of been hit by the injury bug a little bit. Davis, the running back, has been out since the Crown Point game. Hasn't played. It's been Thomas Berta, who's really filled in his role very nicely in those 3 games, 236 rushing yards, and he's averaging 7 yards per carry. Justin Clark, he hasn't played a full game in about 3 weeks. He came out of the Portage game at halftime with an injury. Andrew Elkhorn, the senior backup, finished the game. And against Lake Central, they had a huge lead to where they just took him out and rested him for that second half. So Justin Clark seems to be the guy under center tonight. We'll see how he is. He's been nursing an injury, it seems like, a little bit. Hasn't played a full game in a couple of weeks. Scotty Bradney seems to have a big role just because he's been a huge part of that receiving game. 16 catches for 331 yards. Now, we said in Region Football Weekly, this is a game that, look, if you look at the records, you think it's going to be a blowout. You have 7-2 versus 2-7. But if you're going to face any under 500 team at home, Chesterton's going to give you the toughest test. They played so many good teams. Crown Point, they were tied in the second half in that game at home. I mean, look at Valpo, I should say, 28-14. They played Lake Central very well. They've lost late in that one.
Should have probably beat them, too.
Yeah, so Chesterton, you can look at the record 2-7. I don't think records matter anymore. Brady McCormack, he was the backup coming into this year. He's filled into the role very nicely. Over 1,000 total yards, 9 total touchdowns, and only 1 interception. Hayden DeMarco's been a huge piece on the defense. Over 100 tackles, 5 of them for loss, including 3 sacks. And for Chesterton, what goes well for them is they held Davis in that first meeting to only 107 rushing yards. So they've had success against that rush defense. And for Valpo, that's what they excel on, is the rushing game. So you have an offense who excels in that game, and you have a defense that excels in stopping that game. Something's going to have to give.
Yeah, that's for sure. Again, it's with the weather we're having, it's expect a lot of handoffs, I think, by the guys in green. And for Chesterton, again, it's you got to have guys that kind of load the box and make plays. Again, you're going to look at Hayden DeMarco versus Thomas Berta if he's the lead back tonight. And Owen Eldon, those are the guys you need to contain the run game of Valparaiso and make this game similar to the one they had in the regular season.
Not for Valpo, they have been road dogs, 4-1 on the road. The only loss was at Crown Point, so it doesn't really hurt your record too much. But when they do play region teams, that's when they play their best defense. They haven't allowed 30 or more points to any region teams this year. They've won 6 of their last 7. We talked about they have the 2 most impressive losses a team can have in the region. For Chesterton, we talked about 3 one-possession losses, including that one against Lake Central that you said they probably could have won.
They were up late, I believe.
Yeah. So this is a Chesterton team that's going to be wet. It's going to be crowded. I believe, both teams are kind of geographically close to one another, so definitely going to be a good crowd there at Chesterton. For Valpo, obviously, it's going to be repeating what they did last year, going on that state championship run. It starts here tonight with Chesterton. It doesn't get really any easier. Now, their path does have a lot of region teams because if they win tonight, they'll play the winner of Michigan City and LaPorte.
Correct.
And then if they win that, most likely, I'm not trying to go ahead, but Maryville seems
it's the winner of that other fight, their sectional in the area, though.
So most likely Maryville or Morton. We'll see how that one goes. But you're playing a lot of region teams for the Vikings, and like we said, they played their best football against those region teams. Now, granted the fact 8 of their 9 games are against region teams. The only game was against Penn, and that was fairly close in the first half. Things got away in that second half, and Penn is one of the best football teams in the area. So there's no, there should be no, hard feelings against that loss just because it is a tough team to play, and they play them every year, and they lost to them last year. They lost to Crown Point last year. The only thing that's different from their state championship regular season is they actually beat Maryville. If you go back, they went on that 2-game losing streak against Crown Point and Maryville, but then responded in a big way. But for Valpo, although you're out without Davis, you do have a lot of guys coming back from that state team. Do you feel the pressure of trying to repeat as champions as much as you would think?
You can't really look at it that way, but I bet there is a little bit of pressure. Again, I want to say the consensus this year was with the guys they were bringing back. This team is, last year was supposed to be a rebuilding year from what we're hearing. They were not expected to run the table and go all the way to Lucas Oil and win their first state ring in however many years, couple decades and change. But yeah, now this is the team again. The bar is set. It's what it takes to get to that road, to get to Lucas Oil. Now go do it again. It's that second one probably is a little bit sweeter than the first one, and it starts tonight. And I think again, Valpo, I think they're one of the more consistently solid teams in playoff time. I know they've won a sectional championship, I want to say, for at least the past 4, maybe even 5 years. And I think the weather kind of benefits them a little bit. Again, a team that runs the ball a lot, whether it's Clark, whether it's a healthy Davis, whether it's Berta, whether it's anybody else. Those are guys you don't really want to tackle when it's 40, 50 degrees out and maybe a little bit of rain or a little bit of wind in the forecast. And they just play smash mouth football. And again, Chesterton, the team may be seen as the underdog tonight. You have to play a perfect game by your standards. They kind of did that against Crown Point. They didn't really turn the ball over too much. Not too many penalties to set them behind the sticks. They have to play error-free football if they want to spoil this parade that Valpo is intending to go on to Lucas Oil for the second straight year.
Yeah, it seems like the biggest key of the game for Chesterton is playing all 4 quarters. It seems like, especially in the first half, they have these teams right where they want them. And the old saying goes, when the underdog's in the game at halftime, they're the favorites after halftime. And Chesterton's been like that against Valpo, against Lake Central, against Crown Point. Heck, even go to their earlier games in the year where they lost. I mean,
they were up on Hobart week 1. Again, those are games. They start out pretty okay to their standards, and then it's just it gets away from them. I want to say in those 3 1-score losses, I want to say that Crown Point one was, I don't even think it was a 1-score loss. I think they lost by 14.
No, they lost by 14, but it was 7-7 in the third.
Right.
Quarter.
Again, I mean that could also be thrown on here too. A game that they were tied in the third quarter, and it's just you have to finish, and that's there's no tomorrow. No, tomorrow's never promised in playoff football. So hopefully, again, I'm expecting a solid one tonight, regardless of the records we're seeing. We're seeing right now. Both teams are 0-0 coming into this one, and we expect a good one.
Second game night built by Von Tobel, Valpo at Chesterton. It's going to be a 6:30. Will be live, but 7:00 will be the kickoff time. You can view that on the ihsaatv.org website. Where do you find that link? Well, go to our Facebook page, and we've been posting it periodically throughout the day. Click that link, and it'll take you right to our stream. But like I said, we go on live at about 6:30. Kickoff is slated for 7. Reminder, our first game night built by Von Tobel, which will be starting in any moment now, is Lafayette Jefferson at Crown Point. We'll be going live at about 6:10. Kickoff is at 6:30. And once again, here's the games that you can be on our hometown scoreboard, courtesy of our friends from Strack and Van Til, which you can be on our Facebook and YouTube page. You have Boone Grove, Hanover Central, Highland at Culver, Lafayette Jefferson at Crown Point, LaVille at Whiting, Michigan City at LaPorte. You have Morton at Hammond Central. You're also going to have Munster at Maryville, New Prairie at KV, Portage at Lake Central. Our second game night built by Von Tobel, Valpo at Chesterton, and then Wheeler at Bremen. Like I said, you can view all those scores on our hometown scoreboard, courtesy of our friends from Strack and Van Til. That will be playing throughout the night and even tomorrow morning. And you can view it on our Facebook and YouTube page, regionsports.com. Mike, as we get ready for another Friday Night Lights, this time sectional semifinals, any final words? I think I have a lot.
Another week in the books. No, I was kidding.
Is that going to be your
No,
line again?
I was saying, hey, stay warm and stay dry, Northwest Indiana. But, hey, when you're bored at halftime, maybe at one of these games, or you're warm and cozy, or once the game's over, you know where to find us. Come back here. I know we got 2 more shows on the night, so you know where to find us. But, yeah, let's have some fun again. I almost said it again. It's just it's just like repetition, man.
We've been doing a shirt that says it.
We'll get some merch.
Another week in the books.
We'll talk to our merch people. But, again, let's have some fun tonight. And, yeah. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, you hinted towards it. Our Hose Connections halftime report will be live here from the studio. That'll take place about 8:15, 8:30 will be myself and Rick Novak. And the RSN wrap-up show, that will take place at about 10:15, 10:30 p.m. We'll get you caught up on all the action. And you can find both of those shows on our Facebook and YouTube page. Hose Connections halftime report about 8:15, 8:30. Then the RSN wrap-up show, that will take place about 10:15, 10:30, all in our beautiful Centier Bank Studios. But enough from us. Go watch some Friday Night Lights. But for Mike and Zach, have a great night. This was the Quintel Kickoff Show in our Centier Bank Studios on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Growing up in Northwest Indiana, I am proud that my family's been doing business here for nearly 100 years, which started with my grandfather, John Gladish. Over my career, I've witnessed families being torn apart by the negligence of others, and everything from unguarded openings at construction sites to reckless driving on our roads. Our experienced attorneys, paralegals, and staff know that insurance companies and their lawyers will go to great lengths to avoid paying compensation. Do not waste your one and only opportunity to seek fair compensation for your loss. Give the Gladish Law Group a call and put our team to work for you.
Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso is a leader in athletics apparel and equipment sales. With in-house production including screen printing, trophies, embroidery, and more, Blythe's can help you to create the perfect look. For more information, visit them online at teamblythes.com. Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso, where the athletes shop.
Centrally located in downtown Indianapolis, the Hampton Inn is just steps away from Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Situated at 105 South Meridian Street, shopping, restaurants, entertainment, and many Indianapolis attractions are in near proximity. Hampton Inn has much to offer, including a hot breakfast, high-speed internet access in every room, as well as a gym fitness center. For reservations, the number is 317-261-1200. The website is hamptonin3.hilton.com. Hampton Inn, Indianapolis, downtown.